Hello lovely people, my name is Emma and today I'm doing another one of my rainbow recommendations. This time I'm going to be talking about a handful of really good books that happen to be purple or pink on the cover. So I've got 5 or 6 books here and we're going to jump straight in. The first one I want to talk about is Kellie Armstrong's Bitten. This is the first book in a series and it is paranormal romance and it comes very much from that era when paranormal romance was very, very big. It is a book about werewolves and it follows our main character Elena, and it's about her relationship with her pack, and then there is a big bad. It's very classic, you know, she's got her current love interest and then she's got her torrid love interest from the past, and it's all about their kind of love triangle and also then this big bad they're trying to compete against, and Elena's identity as a werewolf and then as a human being. It has now been made into a Netflix mini series, I think, which was quite good fun, like not fantastic but also not terrible, and it does spin off into a whole series where the first 2 books are about Elena and then it spins off to a bunch of other characters. I personally wasn't bothered about those characters, so I stopped after book 2, but I really enjoyed Bitten and then the second book, Stolen. I've reread these books countless times. I read them when I was a teenager and I really enjoyed them, and I think that they're just a good example of some classic paranormal romance out there. Then a book that I've talked about a fair amount on my channel before, including an entire review video about it, so I'll link it down below. That's Spindle by McKinley. This is a retelling of the Sleeping Beauty myth, where Sleeping Beauty gets whisked away by a couple of fairies and lives with them for like her life when she's growing up, and her name is Rosie and she's stubborn and obstinate and strong-willed, and it's about her character and just really a character study of her growing up. It also looks at her friendship with a character who we meet later down the line, and it really is a commentary about women and women's friendships and women's strength. And what I really enjoy about the ending is Rosie ends up basically saving herself rather than waiting for her prince. So it's a really wonderful retelling. I love the magic, I love the magic system, I love the world, I love so many of the characters, and the secondary characters are so fleshed out and well rounded, and I just think it's a fantastic book. McKinley is top quality for rewriting and subverting some of the classic fairy tales out there. She's got a whole bunch more, go check her out. Okay, a little bit of a cheeky one here because I'm sure there are other covers out there that aren't purple, but it's The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. This is a classic, it's a classic sci-fi from the late Victorian era, and it is the tale of the original Invisible Man. It's a man who manages to turn himself invisible, and it's about his life and dealing with the fact that he can no longer be seen, but also how that interacts like biologically with his space and like food that he eats and cuts that he gets and any kind of damages and things like that, and he turns into a bit of a terrible person. It's very short, it's very good fun, and I really think that H.G. Wells is at his best when he's talking about sci-fi from a biological perspective rather than a technological, and I think that this is a really good example of that. So excellent fun to read. Okay, again slightly cheating, but we have Stephen King's The Bachman books. This is a bind-up of his writing as Richard Bachman, which was a pen name he had for a while in his writing career so that he could experiment with like some non-conventional horror stuff that he was doing. He's very big on his aliens kind of vibe, and this is very much spinning off from that. I've read 2 of the books in here in particular. I've not read Roadwork, but I have read The Long Walk and The Running Man, and I really enjoy both of them. They're both, I think, some of my... I've not read much King, but the King I have read is very polarizing for me. I either really, really enjoy it or really, really viscerally dislike it, and these ones that I really enjoyed. The Long Walk is a dystopian fiction where children can basically nominate, or teenagers can nominate themselves to try and for as long as they can, and it's basically 100 boys who, it happens every year, they just start to walk and you have to keep a certain pace and you have like 3 warnings, and beyond that, after that point, you're then killed. And it's about the main character's struggle to try and keep pace and keep up, and yeah, it's kind of a character study and a look at all these different boys and how they interact in this kind of journey. The other book, The Running Man, is a TV future favourite game show where contestants are hunted to death in an attempt to win $1 billion jackpot, and basically the longer you survive, the more money your family will get after you. So it's this guy's desperate attempt to hide from the people who have made the game so that he can win more money for his child and wife. Both of them are not doing anything crazy revolutionary in terms of like, there are no plot twists at the end, nothing quirky or fun like that. They're just really classic, good examples of that kind of dystopian future vibe and playing around with the ideas of like what desperate people will do. So I would really recommend them, and I think Stephen King is so much better when he's constrained and reined in by not having the ability to rely on supernatural stuff. I think he finishes up his plots much nicer when he can't just go, ah, aliens, giant ants at the end. Revival. I hated that book intensely. And then finally, it's a short one this time around because I really don't have that many books on my shelves that are purple or pink, which is really, really bizarre, or not ones that I hadn't kind of already talked about in some other way. So yeah, so the last one I have is The Four Temperaments by Yona McDonough. I adore this book. It is a family drama centered around a ballet dancer called Ginny, and it bounces from a few of the different characters within it, and Ginny basically comes into the life of she's in the ballet, and it's one of the gentlemen in the orchestra who falls in love with her, but he already has a wife, and Ginny is essentially young enough to be his daughter, and it's about how her then like bursting into his family kind of explodes and has all of these different ramifications. I think all the characters are so well rounded, and I loved the different rationales and motivations that they had and what was really important to them, and I thought that it was a really interesting look at what we will do for love, but also the different ways that love can be shown, whether it be romantic or platonic or familial or maternal or paternal, and I think that it's just a really, really interesting book in its own right. So that's it from me, just 5 really lovely books that happen to have purple or pink on the cover. Do let me know if you have read any of these and what you think to them. There's some fairly obscure books in there. Yeah, and have a wonderful reading week. Chat to you soon. Bye.